Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. My name is Terminus and today we are going to watch Techhnolyze episode 12. Episode 12. I don't have a lot to say, to be honest. I really liked the last couple of episodes for what content they brought, what interesting discussions they brought, also what they generally meant for the series overall. More clarity. More interesting things, right? It's not taking away things where I'm like, okay, now we know everything. Basically, no sense in continuing this. Still, lots of interesting stuff. Lots of emotional themes too. But yeah, I don't want to keep you too long. I think we should get right into it. I don't know how much I'm actually gonna talk after the episode, mind you, because this is probably the last in the bunch, and oftentimes when I'm doing these, I don't feel like talking too much about the episode afterwards when it's the last in the bunch. But we'll see. We'll probably have a little bit of a discussion afterwards, just roughly going through what happened and what I think about it. Let's get this started though. Go. Elevator shaft. Raffia, we're talking about Raffia now. Yeah, we don't know where to get more. Suspicion.
なぜって聞きたいですね。まったくですよ。変な言いがかりをつけてくるようだったら、オルガの本部に。
Wait, what just happened? What did he do? What the fuck, dude? Who the fuck? Is that Yoshi? I don't think it is. Maybe it is. Nah, Yoshi's dead at this point. Precognition. Okay.
ざけんじゃねえぞこら。ここはラカンの島にするっつってんじゃねえか。お前らだって高い金出すの嫌だろ。俺らはお前らと同じなんだぜ。その俺らがお前らから高い金踏んだくるわけはねえだろう。
What's that? That is no. She has a poker face and I have. Ooh. First time. What the? Alright, let's fucking go. Holy shit. Ooh, Gabe is the mountain. I mean, yeah, it's kind of, right? Remember that from early on. Holy shit, how they just moved in, they were just there. Ooh, but they were gone a second later.
あなたは自分の肉体に自信を持っている。その新しい腕なら 改めて武器など必要ないと思っている。
武器。
刀なんて昔のガベが使っていた時代遅れの武器だ。銃の方がよほど簡単に扱える。
Interesting. What's the connection between Onishi and Gabe then?
あなたはもうゲームプレイヤーじゃない。斧や銃で戦うのはルクスの仮想のやり方。
俺は前と変わっていない。
でしょうね。でもあなたはもうオルガノの一員になっている。オルガノはオルガノ以外の人間に対して絶対的強者でなくてはならないんです。
面倒だな。
そう、面倒です。
The more Ichisa talk, the more I like him. I'm still wondering what the first 8 episodes of him was.
So, 刀を自分の指先の延長にする。
Much like your arm at this point, right? It's an extension of your body.
だからさ、あそこに俺らのやさ作りゃいいんすよ。反抗するやつとか見せしめに締めてやってよ。
Shinji's like, can you stop talking?
してくださいよ。ねえ。あだだだだだ。シンジさん。
いつまでもガキのやんちゃしてんじゃねえ。
はい。
Blondie is the one he trusts, right?
どこ行ってたんだよ。そろそろマジで新しい朝決めないとよ。
ああ、
シンジ、来てたんだ。
ハル、ラカンの今の戦力どう評価する？
そうだな。正直これ以上の祭りでみっともない真似したら下の連中が。あ、陽子、酒取ってこいや。ついでになんか食い物も探してこい。
髪乾いたら。
いいから。
わかった。シンジ、何がいい？
何でもいい。
昼間っからグダグダ話してんじゃねえよ。
Yeah, they want her out of the picture because they want to talk discreetly. Just the two of them.
はあ、だが水野先生がバカやってくれたおかげですっかり仕切りがおろそかになった。鉄砲玉を吐かせることなく殺しちまったらしい。
連合ですかね。
だとしたら
He's thinking about her.
わかりました。調べてみます。
遠山と一緒に行ってくれ。
Oh, Toyama, that's his name, right? Cool. I got reminded.
あの子を一人で来させたんだろう。
さあな、社会見学だろ。笑い事じゃないぞ。もしものことがあったら我々だけではどうにもならん。
俺がのやつらは手を出さんだろう。だがあの子がどういう子か知らんものは違う。
むしろどういう子か知ったものの方が危険だ。やっぱり山に中心した方がいいかもしれんな。
And she's out again. Left another flower. And we're investigating the assassin, of course. Ooh, so this is the monolith. And it's right at the procurement sites for the raffia.
幾世の息子だね、あんた。あんたの方が全然背が高いが、でも顔はよく似てるよ。おふくろさんは元気かね。
That. I'm pulling back his arm.
親父は、いや、いい。知ってるんだ。
あんたの親父さんは
自分の仲間を撃って金をもらっていた。
そういう言い方をしちゃいかん。
仲間を撃って惨めに死んだ。自分で全てを失ったクソ野郎だ。
Actually, I need to stop. And we are back. Don't worry. Alright, started back up again at 9:47 in. And we're going back into the run dialogue. I can see it. Ooh, holy shit. All of the timelines, all at once? I don't want to. I mean, it's also big. One of the reasons probably why she's unaffected by people interacting with her like earlier. Because she knows what's gonna happen.
ラフィアを取るために我々ルクスの人間はクラースに生かされている。
Yeah, we are just there to do that.
ラフィアを必要としてるんですかね。
俺には関係ない。
The people
ラフィアが
above.
ここだけで取れるわけ聞いたことありますよね。ここに昔無数の死体が葬られていたっていう。
聞いたことがない。
あなたの父親、ここで警備をしていたそうですね。
A watchman.
父親はただ血がつながっているだけの他人。
For the two of you, maybe. Although the way he just narrowed his eyes seemed like he ejects.
頻繁に外出しては誰かと会っていたらしい。
どうする？
探しましょう。会っていた相手を。
あんたのその足、あのクラースの女医さんが見ているんだろ。
何が言いたい？
Oh, she's from class.
他の上って行ってみたいと思わないか。
Even more interesting than that, she spends most of her time in the city.
クソじいどもと同じ年の取り方、俺はしたくないんだな。
あんまり危険なことを言わない方がいいんじゃないか？
地上から来た火付け強盗な。目の付けどころは悪くなかったって思ってるんだ。
俺に何を言いたい？何を求めてる？
別に。
We're scheming again.
すぐに何かを得られるとは思ってないさ。けど、何を得られるかってことは知っておいて損はない。
It won't hurt to know what I can get.
クラースを捨ててここに来た女だ。
そう。
She abandoned
そう
the
いうことが
class.
知りたい。
He just calls her Doc.
あんたの事務所、準備させておくよ。
A little piece of
殺さ
information.
れたやつ、出荷前のラフィアを一部横流ししていたらしい。
Following run. He didn't intend to hurt.
なぜ俺を避ける？
見ていたくないから。
何を？
Your future.
私が見たあなたの未来がその通りになるところ。
俺の何を？
Is it a grim future?
教えてくれ。俺の何を見た？
He wants to
俺の
know.
ことだ。俺は知りたい。
一瀬さん。
Yes. Shit. So what happened? You have a vision? What happened?
ちょいと気が高ぶっただけだろ
う。ランは俺の未来を見たと言った。
物見だからな。
A seer. Oh yeah, okay, he's one of
あんたに
them.
言っておきたいことがある。あんたはずーっと親父さんを恨んでたんだな。無理ないがあんまりにも理不尽だよそれは。育成は仲間を裏切ったんじゃない。むしろ俺たち採掘人の中からラフィアを横流しするようなやつを出すまいとして恨まれたんだ。俺たちの中から横流しするやつが出たら処罰されちまう。だから育成は黙ってた。黙って死んでった。
親父をはめたのは誰だ？
Yeah, interesting how this comes back to him. It might be important for now. These are locked away memories, right?
何を見せている？俺に。
Is she showing it to him, or is it intrusive flashbacks that he's having?
どうしたんだね。
俺の母親は知っていた。
昔と今は違う。仕返ししようなんて考えん方がいい。
で、何が言いたいのかしら。いや、
今は特に警戒する必要はないと思います。ただ、
He wants her.
用心に越したことはない。
Interesting. It's like somebody asked about you.
野心を抱くのは悪いことじゃないわ。このルックスではむしろ必要な精神ね。けど身の程をわきまえない野心は怪我のもとだわ。私は分
かっているつもりですよ、ドク。
そうならいいけど、あなたの足のこと、どうあなたの中で処理されているのかわからないから。
とにかくご忠告したまで。オルガノも一枚岩じゃないんです。
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we saw that.
幹部会のお時間です。少しお休みになった方がいいと思います。私の部屋で。
Okay. And he rejects.
ラフィアの横流しを持ちかけたのは連合かと思ってましたが、どうやら違うらしい。もちろんラカンの小僧たちでもない。
Yeah, they wouldn't do something like that.
私は古い考え方をしているようだ。望む力を得るためには力を持つ者の中に入るしかない。そういう考えは古いのかもしれないですね。
Maybe it is. Especially if those with power are kind of structured under an order. I don't know if that's something to miss. Alright, underground fighting, I guess.
お前か。
うちの舎弟に何か。
ああ、いえいえ。へえ。
最近ここで金を派手に使った者がいると聞きました。
ここに来るときはそれぞれ派手に使うもんです。
そういう返事でいいんですか？
ああ、そんなつもりはないですよ。あそこにいる連中、このところ張り方がでかくなってますね。
なるほど。
Very interesting how each says kind of following his lead, but having his own stuff going on.
羽振りがいいようだな。よくそんなに使える金があるな。
何あんた。
俺たちはなあ、
働いた金をちまちま集めてここでまあ一杯どうです？
It's gonna trigger something in him. I know he started out there, right? In the ring, episode 1. Ooh. It's just gonna untether him. Ooh, the way this distorts, very interesting. And she's seeing that. This was she meant when she said nothing changes? Or is he gonna refrain? Ooh, we don't know. We don't know. Oh. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. There's not actually that much that we need to talk about. Right? We talked about most of this during the episode. You know what? Fuck it. Episode 13. I do need to kind of lower the volume on this. Episode 13, subtitles. 3, 2, 1. Let's fucking go. We're just gonna do it. Fuck it. Yeah, we're gonna skip this. Alright, here we go. I'm weary of living the way you do. Ooh, interesting.
なぜです。あれでは以前のあなたと同じだ。ならこのところのあなたは何だったんですか。自分で自分を諦めたわけですか。
You've given up on yourself. So he actually did it.
まあいい。僕があなたに言うべきことはすべて言いましたから。あとはあなた次第。いや、大西さん次第と言うべきかな。とにかく大西事務所の本格的再開と、あなたの正式な配属をお祝いします。
Dressed up in a suit now. Hmm.
これがあなたへの最後のアドバイスです。
Vista. My final advice. Ooh. And we're nearing the end of the tunnel. Is that symbolism too? In a way.
一連の騒動についての報告書をお持ちしました。
Light coming in. Hmm.
分かりきったことばかりだな。
目新しいところは何一つありません。
なら見せるな。
形式です。岩田様からはなぜこんな時期にガベへ行くのかと聞かれました。
He's going to Gabe. Okay.
時期だからこそ行く。そう伝えろ。
そのようにお伝えしてあります。
ならいい。一人にしてくれないか。
はい。
Hmm. Hmm. Officially accepted as part of the organization. Don't focus on it. Lips that makes him not trust him.
よその事務所なら煙たがられて鉄砲玉にされるのがいいとこだ。もっとも俺だってこの年ならよその事務所ならお払い箱だ。お互いあの人の下にいて正解だったってことだな。
Hmm. He chooses his men differently, right? And he stands in for them even if they do some things that are not as acceptable. Ooh, I think we were here before, or at least in a similar locale. Yep. And this is Gabe, of course. We've seen it before. Hmm. She's seen a future that she doesn't want to, right? I guess in a way she's closing her eyes off of it. Thinking that if she doesn't move, it doesn't happen, right? And it feels like not checking your mail because you expect bad news. The bad news are still there, but you're not checking. So they don't exist yet in your mind. Ooh. How is this made? Shot felt weird. The place can't change.
それはもう町も変わらんさ。しかもあちらの方がたちが悪い。奥様が亡くなられたそうですね。心からお悔やみを。町の声が？はい。元より聞こうとして聞けるものではありませんが、それにしても沈黙が長すぎる。
It has been silent. He can hear it.
それでここへ来たというわけか。
Hmm. He's seeking advice.
男のおかげで町が乱れました。残
Yeah.
念だが、ガベのものとして助言できることはない。
What are the residents of Gabe? Because they're not the class, right?
彼らの始祖が町を開いて以来、幾度となく同じようなことがあった。町が生まれ、それが壊され。
Lucas is not the first.
壊したものが壊され、また町が生まれる。
The destroyer of the city is destroyed.
それがあの町なのだ。
That's the way.
ないことだとおっしゃるのですか。そうだ。
inevitability.
諦めと共に生きることを決意したもの。道はないのでしょうか。あるかもしれない。だが、ルクスにそれはない。
A new city. A new start.
言葉が欲しいというのなら。
And she appears with the flower in front of her face yet again. Interesting that they start as white. Or at least under the light looks like that.
あんたなんでオルガノにいるんだ。
どういう意味だ。
居心地悪そうにしてるからさ。孤独には強そうだが、組織の中じゃ弱そうだ。
He might be. He's looking for a purpose.
多分あんたのような人はオルガノにいても幸せにはなれねえ。やめるんなら今のうちだ。長くいればいるほどやめづらくなる。
Speaking from experience.
追い出そうってんじゃない。あんたのことは嫌いじゃない。だから言うんだ。
Always noticing something, huh? Okay. Some kind of ceremony. And Onishi is part of it. Okay. The sudden nudity. That's a big test, though.
物見が言葉を下ろされる。
あなたがなくしたものがあなたを滅ぼそうとしている。
By what you lost in the past.
あなたの足が
Your legs.
足が壊されていく。崩れてしまう。
Collapsing. Legs collapsing. The city.
彼も。
彼。
もう見たくない。
It's a great burden on her that she keeps seeing that, and probably takes a toll on her. Industrial press. What's happening? Is that where Techhnolyze stuff comes from? I thought it came from the class. Ooh, the shot, the reflection shot. Into every generation. Oh, without intention.
我らは物見の言葉に従う。それが我らの行く末であればこそだ。あの子はまだその重責を受け入れていない。
Yeah, I mean.
そして自分自身の未来を受け入れることができていないのだ。運命とか宿命とかをそう簡単に受け入れられる人間の方が稀ではありませんか。
It is rare. He says that it is expected in there, or at the very least maybe considered normal here.
工場の中にいたのを彼が見ていたそうです。
怪しい男。
工場の中では大量の重機が作られていたと。
長老、拝見してもよろしいですか？
What for?
誰のためのものですか？
Who for?
黙っていてはわかりませんよ。
Maybe he wants the destruction of the city.
そうですか。
Maybe they... I mean, they are involved with, were involved with Yoshi. Bro saved him. Holy shit.
申し訳ありません。つい夢中で。
気にするな。こいつが助かったのは事実だ。
やはりガベと連合はつながってるんでしょうか。
It's possible, but
だけのものを誰が必要としているかだ。
Hmm.
連合に余裕があるとは思えない。
Exactly.
同様だ。ガベ本体が必要としているとも思えん。どうする？お前なら。
直接聞きに行く。
The plot thickens really.
なぜ俺に構う？
お前は俺の部下だ。これ以上
Bonds.
は叶わないし、そうする義務がある。
ずいぶん面倒なんだな。
当たり前のことだ。
That's what he takes on as a leader.
お前のしたことは全て組織に返ってくる。勝手に殺しなどされては困る。たとえ親父の仇であろうとな。無茶はよせ。頭を使うことを覚えろ。
じゃあ、あんたの足は何だ？無茶をしたからなくなったんじゃないのか。
That's why he's telling you. Mistakes of the past.
これは売ったんだ。
You sold them.
俺がガキの時だ。生まれながらに足のない子供がいてな。同じ年頃の子供から足を買うという話があった。ほとんど言いくるめられたようなものだが、決心したのは俺だ。ガキだったとはいえ甘かった。俺は甘さと引き換えに足を打ったんだ。だが
Sold my legs to pay for my naivete.
この足でなければ街の声を聞くこともできず、今の俺もなかっただろう。
The tech actually makes you hear the voice.
俺の足なんだ。
They make me who I am today.
手足を早く自分のものにしろ。過去に引きずられていても。
Is it because there's people infused in them? Right, we talked about that in the beginning. Or is it the raffia? Still not sure. There's so much we're still unsure about, right? Control, Digo.
二人とも降りてください。
So what does he want?
連合の人間が紛れ込んでいたのは計算違いでした。
奴を撃ったのはわざとか？
そうです。
どこに寝返った？
それが言えればこうしてあんたたちを始末する必要もない。強いて言えば、オルガノよりは約束されている場所です。私も年ですからね。このまま組織にしがみついていても 先が見えて
Hmm.
いい天気だと思ったんです。
忠誠など信じたことはなかったが。
そんなあんたが嫌いではなかった。若いの、お前もだ。だから言っただろ。今のうちにやめとけって。大西さん、残念です。
Bro, you're gonna die. Bro, what did you expect?
誰に雇われた？誰に雇われたんだ？
Bro, you're gonna die anyway. They?
大西さん、ここで俺を殺せないとこがあんたの甘さだよ。
これは何の真似だ？
君たちはまだこれらのことについて知る時期ではない。大西君、時が至れば君にもわかろう。だがこれだけは言っておく。我らが従うは物見の言葉のみ。他の誰でもない。
And this is not run yet. But it is run? Okay, it is run. I'm sorry. True.
駅で連れの者たちが待っている。
ラン。
私が見たあなたの未来。あなたはすべてを
You will
壊してしまう。
destroy everything.
人をいっぱい傷つける。あなたは最後にたった一人。
俺はそんなことはしない。俺はそんなことにはならない。
そうあってほしい。だけど見たことは変わらなくなってきてる。
Ooh.
待てよ。ラン。
This is a quest not only for him and his future. It's a quest against her losing hope that things can change, right? And other people too, right? Because people have been saying that.
もう始まっているんです。
Alright, I didn't see that person in the first time. I probably shouldn't have seen it.
見ていてくださいね、お姉様。
And we do have Techhnolyze. Technology, and it almost seems like these are the class, right? A sister and a brother. And that's all we have going to go off of. Interesting. It feels very much like this is the second half starting. That we have new stakes, right? The first half was basically confined within Lucas. And now we're going further. And we're looking at how is the grand fate of the people we've gotten to know gonna shape out to be? And what are the stakes of this entire thing? What is the story we want to tell, right? Now that the confusion is gone to a degree, right? Still, her closing her eyes definitely being symbolic because she doesn't want to see anymore. Alright, let's do this. A little bit of a discussion. Yeah, in general, I do see where this is going now. In terms of like just, we're defining the stakes now. We're defining what do we really want to tell with this story ultimately, right? Where's our goal line headed? Because now that we've went from a place of mystery and confusion and total chaos into we are starting to establish the structures in our mind, right? Our mind's palace is building this foundation and the balustrades and everything to kind of just the pillars of our world, Lucas, basically. And we're getting glimpses that this is not all that is, right? And like just a couple of episodes ago, we go into the class, the city on the hill, and also Gabe, which I think those are two different things. The class and everything there and Gabe. They're two different societies, two different, maybe opposed to one another, maybe more in common than you think, I don't know, right? Because Gabe is this supposed secret society with sages and seers and whatnot. It feels very much like a Greek story, right? Like where you do have like the city on the hill as the shining beacon, basically, and you do have Lucas as like the melting pot kind of pit of hell, purgatory kind-ish place that is being exploited and is all about groundedness, right? All about living, all about just like surviving, basically. And then do we have Gabe, which is the seeing place, right? Like the what do we call it? The oracles, basically, right? The oracle society that was also kind of like on a hill, kinda, but not right, like not in the same way that you do have like the shining city on the hill, like the capital city, basically, in those Greek stories and mythology. I don't know Greek mythology good enough to actually properly describe it, to actually draw the direct parallels, but this is how it feels like. And in many ways, you can also see it as a representation of the psyche, right? Our survival instincts, like our very base needs on the bottom of the hierarchy, which is Lucas. And then we do have like our higher order processes, the things we want in a way, right? The things we want maybe being Gabe, although that is within that theory, that's still the weakest part. Gabe maybe being the things we want, right? And the things we like desire, the things we strive for, our gaze into the future, and the class, basically, like these people, these holy beings that kind of oppress us in a way, indirectly, being the it, basically, in the it ego, and what you might call it, I don't know how you call it in English, right? You do have three instances, and that being basically society, right? Society holding us down, the structures of the system basically being ingrained into us, which is like the holy people, basically, where Doc came from, right? Imposing order on Lucas, which is the it, basically, which is the desire, which is the basic structures of our needs. And Gabe being like our gaze into the future, our wants, our goals, and all of that, right? Relating to that. I still don't know how Gabe works in a way, but we do have that in the beginning, and now I see the character too, like blue-haired, supposedly. Right, and this is like the sister, also in kind of like a very ceremonial garb, but very much distinctive from what we see in Gabe later on. And he did it, and he lost his composure, but he was protected by Onishi, pardoned kind of, and remained the bodyguard for him. Do get to know this new character who we don't know, but the focus on the lips, I was immediately, I don't trust this guy. Interesting, maybe a telltale sign in Techhnolyze, who can be trusted, or who can hardcore not be trusted, basically. I do love these structures. They're weird, kind of, but architecturally, it reminds me of like these paintings of like the perspective change with the never-ending staircase and whatnot. It's very interesting. And it also kind of mirrors what's happening, right? Especially with the archways, they're the same way, right? Endlessly repeating archways, and that kind of connects, both of that connects to like an endlessly repeating cycle of death and rebirth for the city, as Gabe kind of observes that from the side. Although they say they observe that from the side and it just happens, right? The city goes down, somebody destroys it, some outsider, some outsider destroys it, who then himself gets destroyed, but the city gets destroyed in the process, and out of that rises a new city, basically, or new society, or whatever you want to call it. And it's been repeated over and over again, and that's what maybe one part of what Rand says, that things don't change, right? Even for them, every generation a seer is born. The interesting thing about that is, within that society, they are contributing to the perpetuation of the cycle, right? Because in a way, the outsider that comes from the outside is actually being led into the city by them, even if they don't directly do anything in that regard. They actually help the outsider to destroy the city, to revive the city, which is very interesting, to like get this rebirth going, which is very interesting. And at the same time, they provide weapons, or rather, maybe they need the weapons for themselves. Maybe they're kind of like some Ra's al Ghul kind of shit, like a la Batman, where they kind of just need to destroy society every once in a while. We don't know, right? But at the very least, there's this component that they are meddling, and they're this weird kind of secretive ninja clan that suddenly 5 people can appear out of nowhere with the masks on, and then like you're like, okay, sorry about that. You turn around for a second, you turn back, they're gone, right? They're part of the society. They undermine, or like they infiltrated all of the society. They could be your neighbors, basically, kind of deal, which is interesting. And we do have this where she is like sitting in the, I mean, I don't know, it seems like maybe onsen, right? Like healing waters or whatever that might be, or just normal water. And she doesn't want this anymore. She doesn't want to see it anymore. She feels a lot more mature in this case, right? Like in the way she's being displayed, even later on with the garb she has on, with like the ceremonial garb and whatnot. I do feel like her appearance in the city feels a lot more like a child, a lot more younger. Maybe that is by design, because she needs to kind of, even though she has a very prominent features and very prominent look, she needs to at least be able to walk freely within the city, and that is easier if she has a certain outfit, has a certain appearance to her. And then we are going in here, and it's like things here don't change. At the same time, it's like, well, in the cities things don't change either, and we explained that a little bit. Right, and he's like, it feels as though the city's will has receded, right? He's like, I could hear the will of the city through the Techhnolyze, through my legs and whatnot. Not voluntarily, but just like that, but it's been quiet for a long time, and this is like what happened. The outsider came and he basically more or less almost destroyed the city. The residents of Garba are those who decided to live with this inevitability, right? But are you perpetuating it? Are you continuing it, right? Are you being part of that? Because that is important. That is very important. Being destroyed by the legs, right? She's saying that. You're in danger of being destroyed by what you've lost in the past. By the legs you've lost in the past. By the person that you gave the legs to, right? Maybe. And maybe that's the person that we see later on, like the brother and sister, right? The brother of that. Because he said he gave the legs to somebody who's like... Let me see the appearance actually of that one. Which thinks is fate and destiny, so easily is rare indeed, right? Accepting those, and he's like, no, we do that, right? It's almost dogmatic, right? Cultish in a way. That's just what we do, and that's why what Ran is doing, where she's like, I don't want to anymore, and not accepting it, is irregular in a way. Yeah, the assassin and him saving him, which is very interesting to do the fake out later on. Let me see. This is what he's flashing back to, where he's like, yeah, blue hair, definitely, fucking hell. But it's just like, he is the danger, basically. I was the one who made the decision. Although I was still a kid, I was too naive. I sold my legs to pay for my naivete, right? I wanted to lose, or I was gonna lose my naivete. Or maybe I wanted to keep my naivete and sold my legs for it. I don't know. I don't know how to put that. I guess it feels more like this line should be, I sold my legs and paid for with my naivete. Because this is more like how it feels like, right? He lost his naivete when he sold his legs. Interesting that this is the same meeting place where Yoshi and Ran looked at one another. And this is where this happens. You have the strong connections that each feels towards Ran that is going beyond him just wanting to know his future, right? And this kind of reinforces what we see in the ED, where it's like almost a love song to her. But I don't know in which capacity that will be the case. And we do have that connection. Her eyes very, very, very flat here, and here they start glimmering with opening up more, right? Focusing on him, I guess, and glimmering with some kind of emotionality. Because she doesn't want to see his future. Maybe she, in a way, relates to him, or she feels for him in a way. She connects to him in some way. As he's connected to her. You will destroy everything. You will hurt many people. I do wonder if this is a double ploy, right? If this is her saying it to him. Saying it to him as a matter of process, right? So in the end, it won't be that way, right? Maybe she hasn't, like, I do wonder if she ever rebelled against her seeing things, right? If she sees things happening and maybe even sees herself being part of that, because she's obviously interacting with him as that she is interacting with the object of destiny, right? In this case. And she's kind of, right? An action always causes a reaction. So she is interwoven in this. So I do wonder if her changing her behavior in a way could kind of lead to a different future. And if she sees multiple futures, or if she just sees one future and it's very deterministic in the worldview that we see. But that is very interesting. We'll be all alone in the end. What does it cause in him, right? Because he says, I will never do such a thing, but it can obviously also be a self-fulfilling prophecy that by him trying everything he can to not do these things, he will end up doing them eventually, just by a cascade of things happening that cause him to do it anyway. Because we do know that he loses control occasionally. We see that just an episode ago. I wish that could be so. And again, turning her back. But the things I've seen are beginning to come true. And she's starting to, this is what I was talking about. She's starting to despair in the face of the future that she's seen and that's slowly coming true. Also very creepy how everybody's just like in loincloths. Like, holy shit, can you not dress up normally? Hello? Anyway, a little bit of a distraction just now, but yeah. And this will be, I don't know what kind of result this narration will have, right? What kind of result this story will have in the end. If you go by the people who like these kinds of stories, right? Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, Berserk, whatever. Then it might have a very, very dark and depressing ending. I wouldn't like that, of course, but I mean, obviously, that's still saying something, right? That's still like, it's still conveying something. I do hope there will be somewhat of a bittersweet ending. I don't think there will be a great, beautiful, optimistic ending, but I do hope maybe there will be some kind of ending where it's like, there's a bright side and there's a negative side of the ending, right? You do have like sacrifices, almost like a Pyrrhic victory or something, and we do on the other hand though have things that are looking up at the end for one of our characters, be that Ran, be that each I do hope so, because in a way, like, this story, the second half of the story seems to be veering in the direction of this is a fight not only for Ichis' future and him not trying to not fulfill this prophecy of destroying everything and being alone. The goal is set, right? The goal is him not being alone. The goal is him not having destroyed everything, right? Not being the agent of destruction and chaos. Or at the very least, there being a twist on it that this might be true on a technical level, but it is different in context, right? Creating something new by destroying something old, a structure, a system, or whatever. And it will also be maybe, at least that's what I'm gleaming from that, maybe it's just a fake out or a red herring or whatever, but it might be kind of also a quest for her soul in a way, because this is like her on the edge of despairing because everything she sees starting to become true, and her not wanting it to be that way, right? We have like a deterministic road we're going down, and what she needs technically for her to not despair, for her to not maybe wallow in sadness and desperation and just emotionally exhaustedness in a way, is for her to actually realize that things can change. Be that, right, in the grand scheme, or be that in the very small details, right, that there's always an upside. And by proving that, Ichise would kind of maybe free her of this cage of her being a seer, right, of her gift, basically, or, right, her gift and her curse, basically. But yeah, I mean, this is how I see it. And obviously Onishi plays a very important secondary role too, Onishi being like the main associative person we've kind of connected to. And him having his own parallel with like his past coming back towards him, with the brother that he lent his legs to, or that he gave his legs to, and that coming back to bite him and him having to face that, kind of. Very interesting how this is gonna pan out, certainly. But yeah, cool. Cool stuff. I'll be seeing you next time on Techhnolyze or Monster or whatever. Obviously, next week is gonna be Monster. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. Check out my other stuff. Check out ReZero and Monogatari and all of the other stuff that's coming out in the meantime. We might have some Western animation stuff down the line. Go keep your eyes out for that, and I'll see you next time.